Hey everybody, I'm Yvonne Williams with Back to Earth Creations, and today's video is about, what month is it? April's craft along kits sent out on Patreon, and we also do have a few for sale up on our Etsy shop. Links for all of that will be down below, but let's go ahead and do the unboxing and do a bit of crafting together. So for the wire wrapping and dealer's choice this month, we sent out wire wrapping stuff. So for the chainmail, you'll have a lot of the similar cabs, and there will be links down in the video description to other tutorials that are appropriate for the ring sizes that were sent out this month. But we've got some bubble wrap to keep things safe, a little thank you note. And on our Etsy shop, if you purchase one of the craft along kits through there, since you're paying for shipping, I do slip in a few extra cabs, but with the Patreon craft along kits, since you're also getting the $1, $5, and $10 tier benefits and not paying for shipping, this is what we get. So we'll go ahead and open it up. And I'm always open to suggestions and comments and ideas and things too, by the way, of what to include into these kits. But we're really excited this month to be debuting these spools of parawire, like an actual proper spool with quite a bit on there, in my favorite colors and sizes to use. And so it has this nice little wire holder on her, like thingy. And for anyone interested, probably my favorite way of storing wire, especially when it has this little loop on the top like that, is on pegboard, like shown here. And that's just, I don't know, it keeps everything nice and tidy and organized. And well, I tend to make messes anyhow, but let's not focus on that. So you do have a little earring kit. These are hypoallergenic with the silicone backings, and you could attach this directly to the ear hook, or you could use some of the wire included to make a little bead charm or something in between. I just try to do different themed charms every month, and you know, just something that's quick and easy and might knock some of the dust off if it's been a minute since you've crafted a very, very beginner friendly project. Now also, this is just our $20 tier package. The larger tier you have, the more wire and cabs and things that will have been included in the kit. And so if some of y'all who've been following me for a while might recognize this style. There will be a link down in the video description to these different wire wrapping styles that I was going to be sharing with you guys today. If you wanted a tutorial that's maybe a little bit more focused. So now I think everybody got 20 gauge this month. I think we ran out there towards the end, and so but I tried my best to send everybody some 20 gauge because I've found that's really excellent for doing a lot of different things with. So I'm pulling off about 2 feet worth of wire and throwing it on the ground because that's what I do apparently. Okay, and so we're gonna start by wrapping, let's go with the smaller one because the tutorial that we've done, or that I've done in the past, was for a larger style. So let's go ahead and wrap this smaller one to see how it might vary. You could use a knitting needle or mandrel pliers or just whatever you might have on hand. Just getting this twisted around. But I just want to say, and I know I've said this, gosh, I could say it a million times more though, but I know I've said it before, but y'all have made such a huge difference for us over on Patreon, so I really appreciate y'all's support and everything, and any way that I can give back and help y'all in your crafting journey, I'm really interested to hear about that. So thank you guys from the bottom of both Randy and I's hearts, because we cannot express enough to y'all. So we've made our bail just the way that we do, kind of looped around a bit and then some tie twists. And I'm going to do this one positioned kind of this away, you know, with the point down, just because I like that. And I like this shape too because it's very reminiscent of like guitar picks or something. And I'm going to change it up a little. So I'm just going to cross it across like the shoulders, for lack of it. Like if this is the head and the cab is the body, then those guys are the shoulders. So I'm just wrapping around the shoulders and then around the neck like he's wearing a little scarf. And then I'm going to come in with the other one in the other direction, nice and snug. This wire is very malleable, very easy to work with. And now from there, ooh, that would look cool. Doubled up like that, wouldn't it? I'm just bringing it down just a little. And we could do a little bit of a weaving too. So on this layer, this wire is on top. So let's change it so that now, well, it didn't really change it much, does it? Nope, not too much at all. I guess I'd have to weave through it maybe. I don't know. I think you guys might get what I'm trying to get at, but let's try it a little further down. And if your wire gets kinked up a bit, this stuff is soft enough that you can just straighten it out with your fingers some. And I'm gonna give it some good solid wraps to keep that from happening, how it just kind of slides up and off. And so now from here, I actually want to layer farther down on the cab. Because see how that kind of just slid out? I'd like to avoid that happening as much as possible. So I'm going to treat these top two wires as though they are decorative, and then just come through there. There's that one. And then let's get those little kinks straightened out. There's that one. And I'm going to come here on the back. See how those wires are crossing? And I'm going to do a bit of a bend and a bit of a bend. And now we can make a cute little rosette. Kind of spiral. And we can make this however large or small as we like. But yeah, I really like the way that that's looking now. Very, reminds me quite a bit of the Lisa Barth tutorials where they have like the crossing and stuff. So I know I've seen this somewhere, but we don't live in a vacuum, and I can't remember where I saw it, but definitely all the credit for all of my inspiration goes out to all y'all. Okay, so now I'd like to bind these shoulder pieces because they're still way more wriggly than what I want them to be. So holding that part down with my thumb, I'm going to kind of angle this through. Whoop, and I missed. And I aim and I miss. And I aim and I miss again. And I'm going to use my round nose pliers just to grip. Like I just put on a bunch of sunblock, so my hands are all like oily and slippery. So don't hesitate to use pliers if you're having trouble. I'm going to snip off just a bit and grab as close to the tip of the wire and as close to the tip of the pliers as you can. And I'm going to start just spiraling this in, because as we come down, this is now going to stabilize to, oh, watch is going off. Oh, thank you. Okay. That's going to stabilize that wire. And now we're going to do that same thing over here on the other side. And if you have trouble getting the wire in, just slide a fingernail or maybe the blade of a pocket knife or something. Now, this could work for anything where one tip is shorter than the other, so like a teardrop or anything like that would work really well for this style of wrapping. Trim off the excess. Then let's get in here, and I always try to make my backs look pretty, but they never quite are what I wanted them to be, and that's okay. Sometimes they're a fun place to experiment a bit. It's not the worst back I've ever had, but I definitely do like the front. I love the sleek simplicity of it. And if on any of your cabs you're unhappy with like the way that like an edge has come out, you can totally just grab a nail file and some sort of like respirator or something would be a really good idea. But I live on the edge. And you can just file that nice and smooth. We try to clean up our cabs as well as we can, but if ever I miss something, sometimes they'll slip through the cracks. But yeah, just a nice little like emery board. And there we are, nice and smooth. And you could wrap this one in that same style. Did I really just throw that on the ground? I really just threw that on the ground. Alrighty. So fortunately, and I hope it didn't prove me wrong. Oh yeah, these are super durable. Just blow the dog fur off, you're fine. So, but yeah, so that's kind of the core concept, these two styles. I tried to have at least one cab in this style in each of our craft along kits. And then there are links also to where you can do a wrap of this one, but I'll go ahead and do a demonstration of that as well. So again, I'm going to pull off about 2 feet. I don't mind giving myself a little bit extra than what I need, and now that we have, I mean, there's 10 whole yards of wire in here, you can get a lot of projects out of that. So now I'm going to be using my flat nose pliers, and I feel like I'm neglecting the chainmail in this video, but we sent out literally all of the rings that we had made in this last month's craft along kits, so I don't even have any rings to demonstrate with. I'm very sorry, but I'll make it up to y'all in next month's video. So here I've made a little bit of a zigzag, like a boop boop boop, with my 20 gauge wire, and you want that to be just a little bit shorter. I've left myself about half a centimeter or a quarter of an inch on each end. And so I'm just bracing that with my thumb. I really hope that siren, everybody's okay, but that they hurry up and get past the house because it's going to be loud, I'm sure. Bringing this around. I'm actually going to pause and wait for a minute. So I've wrapped around, and now I'm going to bring that under the other wire and cinch that down like that. So yeah, is that little loop, and tighten it. And now we're going to do that same thing on the other side. So stabilize right there, and then we're going to wrap around the front. I try to give myself a little bit extra, like I'd rather be scooched closer towards the center than closer towards the edge, because we can go in and fiddle with that a little bit. So now here I'm actually going to do a bend. You could use your flat nose pliers or your fingernail, but by doing that bend there, now whenever we thread this through and pull, it'll give the wire a place to want to go, and so it's a nice little way to try to guide it. And then tightening down that loop as well. And so now we can come in, and you could use your round nose or your flat nose pliers, just whichever. If you want a more angular, I'd use flat nose, but I want something nice and rounded, so I'm using my round nose pliers. Sorry, it's a beautiful day, so we have the windows open, so I apologize for all of the sirens and all of the traffic noise and everything. C'est la vie. So I'm just gripping and twisting, being careful not to scratch the surface of my stone. The resin is about as sensitive as like a turquoise, so you'll want to be careful. And I've just gone in and bent on both sides. And so like here, I'm paying attention to towards the edge. I have, I'm paying attention to my plier positioning. That way I can mirror it on the other side. So I don't want to just repeat the same one, because that'll give us a zigzag. I want to mirror it. So it warrants a little bit of experimentation, but it's totally worth it. So now we have this nice little shape going on, and we can take these guys, these other wires, because right here, this is the stability. Like, there's no wiggle going on. That makes me very happy. If there is a bit of wiggle, you can actually take your pliers on the center spine wire and cinch down just a little bit more. And now it's like very tight, which is good. But I'm going to take these guys, and I'm again stabilizing right here to help it determine where it's going to be branching out of. And then I'm just going to be hooking through on this side, just threading through. This is actually similar to one of the very first tutorials that I did here on YouTube. And it's been for a long time one of my favorite ways of wrapping. So now that we've gone through that corner, I'm going to thread through with this wire also. So now we can wrap with 2 wires. And I'm going to bring this one just around, have it sit quite close to the cab. And I'm just going to have it finish with a spiral. So let me rummage out my pliers. And just getting a nice little organic-y curly Q spiral going on. And I'm going to bend this one around and go through that same location, pulling it quite a bit over from where it was, and then just doing a single twist. Let's make it a double twist, a little bit more sturdy. So you can see how that wrap twice around there now. Getting all those kinks and things. And then coming through. And now we're going to finish with a spiral on this side. Excuse me. Grabbing again with our round nose pliers. There we go. And we can tighten that down just a little bit more, because there's a little bit more space than what I wanted in between those 2 areas. And so I'm almost using that spiral to cinch down. And so there we are. And we do have the option that if you have like a chain or a cord or something, that this little wire here, we can sneak our pliers in. No, that's a little too offset to one side, isn't it? So let's do this one here. So I've slid my pliers in, and now I'm going to bend out like this, and we could actually thread our chain. The chain doesn't match, but you'll get the idea. We can actually thread our chain right through the back there, and so now whenever we wear the pendant, it doesn't quite lay flat, does it? I thought I'd experiment a little bit, but I don't like that at all. So, and if that doesn't work out, then you just smoosh, pretend like it never happened. Now, what would be a good way, I wonder, for us to mount this on a chain if we didn't want to put a bail on it? Because if we put too much pressure on these sides, they do wiggle around a little bit, just because it's a much thinner, softer wire. We could put a bit of a bend in this one, maybe, to make it more centered. There we are. Squeaky old disc. Okay, so with this chain, you only need a little bit of a space. So we'll take that, thread that chain right through. That is much better. And so now whenever we wear it, it'll sit like that. I think that's pretty neat. That makes me pretty happy. We could also, if you wanted to make a beaded chain or a wire wrapped chain, we've got these little segments here. We could actually go through and repeat that wire motif. I've just grabbed in the center of the chain and I'm wrapping just a bit. And this is a pretty commonly used design. But bringing it around on each side, and then curling that side in, and curling that side in. And you could do this as like bead links or something. You could hammer it, like you could incorporate a bead, but here with just the wire, we could hammer it, or we could go through with our nylon jaws and just smush it a bit. That compresses the metal and hardens it up a little. Normally on a thinner wire like this, I would recommend like a wrapped loop, if you want something very secure, but this should be all right for what we're doing. But we can open that up and then hook it here on the side on the back. And have that sit and have that connect and just do a whole chain like that. So these are just two of the infinite possibilities of what you could do with this month's craft along kit. And I'm really excited to see what you guys make. You can tag me on Instagram. That my Instagram info's down in the video description. You could do the hashtag craft along with Vaughn if you're doing hashtags. That way we can all see each other's work. There's also Daniel Knott had put together a Discord channel for us, and you can post pictures of stuff there as well. I'll try to get that information posted down below also. But thank you guys so much for hanging out with me and for all of your support. And it's the coolest thing to get to craft with you guys. So thank you so much for participating in this and helping this vision and concept become a reality. So I'll see you all in my next video. And until then, happy crafting. Mwah. Bye.